What's up, YouTube? I just wanted to clarify some shit I was talking about before. Uh, Wait, hold up. Yeah. Um, yeah. So when I was like talking about the stuff I was saying in Japan, I was just talking from my experience. So it's not like somebody if they go to Japan, they might have a different experience. They might be like, oh, whatever, um, but you know, it was more of like, those are my mistakes that I went in, kind of thinking how stuff was, and then later on, it was like, wasn't really like that at all. You know, and I wanted to say that I was saying that when I said you know who you are, I was saying like the girl I was dating, you know who you are, not really talking about anybody. So yeah, but and another thing is like just from my perspective. So like I like Osaka and I like Kyoto and that region. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of like good nightclubs in Osaka, and there are a lot of like good nightclubs in Kyoto, and there are a lot of people in Osaka and Kyoto who speak really good English, and also Japanese people tend to speak pretty good English, even in all the areas. You know what I mean? Because they uh, they start learning English at a young age. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, when I'm in Tokyo, I feel like I can, the English is pretty good, but it's pretty good in all the other areas, too. So, and Osaka is a good place to live, and they have a lot of Americans there too. And Kyoto is a good place. All the cities in Japan are good places to live, and even in the southern part of Japan, like in Okinawa, they have a navy base there as well. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of Americans there. And one area that would be cool to live in is Hokkaido. That's all the way at the top. It's really like snowy in the mountain. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So it's like, but the thing is, like, what's my perspective may not be someone else's perspective. So someone else may move to Tokyo and not like it. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? And they may like Osaka better. So, but this is for me. I like living in Tokyo, and I like Osaka too. You know what I mean? So, uh, yeah, and you know, um, and when I was just talking about Japanese girls, it was more of just like, you know, trying to, like a compliment, you know what I mean? And, you know, if anybody is moving to Japan, things that, not to do, things not to, think about, you know what I mean? And, and I'm not saying like Japanese people don't think about anything. I'm just saying like, like if you're overthinking in Japan, you're gonna have a really, I think you're not gonna have a good time because you gotta just chill out. So it was more like a guide for foreigners who like have difficulty in Japan. You know what I mean? But yeah, but yeah, I really like I said, I really like dating Japanese girls, and I really like hanging around with Japanese people. And if you didn't know, I live with a lot of Japanese people actually, because I was staying like in different friends' apartments. You know what I mean? So you know, so I really got to know them pretty well. And another thing is like when I was talking about Japanese guys, I didn't mean like they're not always serious. You know what I mean? But like sometimes in Japan, if you want something to get done, you gotta be serious. So that's why, you know what I mean? But Japanese guys are actually a lot of fun to hang around too. A lot of them are really funny, you know what I mean? And they're really smart, you know what I mean? And Japanese girls are really smart too, you know what I mean? So, so I may have to make a video about, living, like, the things I learned from Japanese guys as well. I may have to do that, but that's just to clarify, it wasn't like, I just sharing my experience, and, what's my experience may be different from someone else's, you know what I mean? But that's just like, what I think, and I think it's true, you know what I mean? So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. All right.